Hey, Jeremy here, and in this video, I'm doing a quick audit of active skin repair from an SEO perspective to see if there are any changes or updates or improvements that can be done on their site to help them rank better and generate more sales from organic search or Google rankings. So first thing I like to do is use this tool here called Ahrefs, and in here, there are so many different data points, but the two I like to look at initially from a high level are referring domains and DR. Now, a referring domain is a unique instance of a different website on the internet linking to any site, or in this case, to bldgactive.com. And the reason I look at these is because Google looks at these as votes of confidence or trust signals. So, as a website owner, you want to have trusted sites linking to your site. And when you do, Google sees that and views your site as a trusted or an authoritative website as well. Now, the other thing that happens is as you get links from other sites, your DR or domain rating tends to increase as well. And this is on a 0 to 100 scale and essentially tells us how strong or how authoritative a domain is, and also how difficult a keyword or phrase is likely to be to rank for based on the site's ranking for it. So that being said, let's look at some keyword data, and some of these metrics will start to make a little bit more sense as well if you're unfamiliar with them. So this chart here shows all keywords and phrases that they rank for in Google, and you can see here 3,250 keywords. Now, I do have a filter here set to not include any blog posts. And the reason for that is initially I like to look at and find product pages or collection pages that have potential gaps from a rankings perspective. And what this allows me to see then here is some quick opportunities potentially for rankings and improvements. And the one that I'm seeing here, let me zoom this in, is hydrating serum. You can see 4,600 people are searching for this every single month, and it's estimated they're getting one visitor from those 4,600. So huge opportunity there. They're already ranking it at number 28, and they do have a product page set up for this. So if we look here at the search results, a couple more things to look at here then. So what this shows is a list of all the websites ranking on Google for this key phrase. And you can see here down at number 28 is where active skin repair is. And again, their DR is 47. So if we look at page one, we can get an idea of whether or not it actually makes sense to compete for this keyword. And what I mean by that is if every single result on page one was DR 87 and your site's at 47, it's going to be difficult for you to rank there. But as you see here, we have a 71, 74, 31, 96, 12, and 46. So they're stronger than three websites here on page one. So this is something that they can compete with, but it would likely be difficult to get into the toward the top of page one here unless they significantly ramp things up. But there are still ways to obviously get to page one here and then work to continue improving that and building up their domain authority and domain strength over time. So on the page itself though, what can be done to improve optimization here? And a couple things to look at would be just the page to see how it's structured. First thing I'm seeing here is the H1 or the title of the product is this part up the top here. And it's the H1 here is, if you're unfamiliar, is generally the primary topic or primary keyword on a page. And in most cases with Shopify, it's going to be the product name or the product title for the individual product page. And you can see here they're essentially optimizing this page for active skin repair hydrating serum. Now that's fine, but hydrating serum is the primary key phrase here. Not as many people are searching active skin repair yet. That's a brand awareness play, and it can work, but I would recommend moving hydrating serum to the start here, and then also having active skin repair in there, or as a subtitle, kind of an H2 or an H3 design at the bottom there. So that's kind of a minor issue because you still do have the H1 in the title. Now, if we look at this plugin here called Detailed, this shows a number of different optimization factors and gives us some ideas as to what can and should be done from an optimization perspective. And the one thing here is the title of the page is Active Skin Repair Hydrating Serum. It's only 34 characters, as you can see here. And what this means is we have some additional room for optimization. And the benefit is, if we look here, if we go back to the keyword chart and we look at hydrating serum, we look at all keyword opportunities here, you can see there are 2,851 keywords that have hydrating serum in them. And some of these are competitor keywords, which would not make sense. But this is a play that some brands go for, is to optimize for best as well. So to include best hydrating serum, Another one would be to use some additional key phrases here for, like, if you had just the product page and you didn't have additional content pages, hydrating serum for face. And then another one would be if you do have hyaluronic acid or some other materials or ingredients in that product, having that in there as well can not only make it easier for somebody to find that product, but make it easier for you to rank for it then as well. Now, if we go back to the page here, same thing. The description is set way too long, and it has a bunch of information here about the formulation and stuff like that, which is fine. But again, this is better content on the page itself and not as solid of a description set, because it gets cut off in Google search results, and you're not as optimized then for click-through rate. So something that I would recommend cleaning this up, adding and improving optimization in the title and the description. And then as we look down here, they also have 4 H1s set. Now, Google has said it's not a negative factor to have multiple H1s. You can do that, but in general, it makes sense to have one primary H1 on a product page and then set H1s for, or set H2 and H3, excuse me, for content and breaking things up within the content itself, like description, or if you had additional content here, to have different H tags there instead of H1s multiple times. And that is something that can impact rankings as well, and potentially cause confusion depending on what H1s are actually set within the content itself. So I realize I'm getting into some of the specifics here, but this is part of the process we go through when looking at a site to determine what needs to be done and what should be done from an optimization perspective. And that is the biggest things from an optimization perspective technically. Now, the next thing to look at then would be content. And if we look here at all of the ingredient information, this is extremely well done, very detailed, and set up very well from that perspective. If somebody does care about looking at the ingredients, which if you're buying from a brand like Active Skin Repair, it's probably a case where people do care about reading this information, which is nice to have. Same thing here with label information. Make just a very easy way to explain it. And they do have hyaluronic acid in here, so that would be a potential keyword to optimize in the title. And then certifications here as well. So very well done from a content perspective. One other recommendation would be to add an FAQ section on the page itself. And the benefit there is people can ask, is this safe for using on my face? Is this safe for babies? Can this be used for sunburn? Things like that, where we make it very easy for a prospective buyer to understand what the product is, what it does, and how it can help. And that's basically it from this page, just doing a quick analysis here, and part of the just giving you some ideas as to the process that I go through when optimizing and figuring out, or auditing and then optimizing a site. And that's it. Hopefully this was helpful, gave you some value and some ideas and insight as to what goes into an SEO audit, and I'll see you on the next one.